Unity got in a little bit of trouble. Pretty much, yeah. Unity got in a lot of trouble. Okay, so Unity is planning a pricing and packaging update. Now, you'd think, okay, maybe they're adjusting their prices a little bit. Well, it turns out it's not quite that way. Effectively, January 1st, 2024, we'll introduce a new Unity runtime fee. That's based on game installs. We'll also add cloud-based asset storage, Unity DevOps tools, and AI runtime at no extra cost to Unity subscription plans this November. In other words, it sounds like you still get all the same payments you're currently making to Unity, plus when games are installed, you also get a little bit. You know what I mean? You get yourself a little bit of an extra, little bonus fee. As many of you know, the Unity engine is in fact two substantial software components, the Unity editor and the Unity runtime. The runtime is code that executes on player devices and makes made with Unity games work at scale with billions of monthly downloads. Billions. We are introducing the Unity runtime fee that is based upon each time a qualifying game is downloaded by an end user. We choose this because each time a game is downloaded, the Unity runtime is also installed. Also, we believe that this initial install-based fee allows creators to keep the ongoing financial gains from player engagement, unlike revenue share. Try to help me here, just because I'm trying to understand it. So, with revenue share, that means you've made money. With charging up front, it currently means you made no money. Am I correct on this understanding here? Net versus, no, because on a download, you could have made $0. You actually have no reason to believe you've made any money. Am I getting this wrong? Keep reading. It has qualifiers. Okay. They're saying qualifying. Yes, I've heard this whole qualifying. The problem with qualifying is simple as this. There exists some sort of line, right, in which Unity has made, right? This is like downloads, right? I don't know. This is time. We'll call this time. This is downloads. This is time. And it slowly goes up over time, right? You hope you have some sort of good growth. So typically what they do is they pick some sort of optimized point for you where they say, okay, starting here, we are going to get a small amount of your money made, right? It's going to grow proportional to what you've done. Typically, that's what we're going to be seeing here. Now, this number has been optimized. The problem with this is that this number, if they need more money, just goes backwards. And so what is a qualifying game? These kind of things always worry me because I really like indie games, and I really hate how shitty mobile apps have become to just try to make money. Revenue share makes sense. Runtime fees make 0 sense. That's my initial reaction, and I don't want to be incorrect here. So let's keep on reading. Let's first make sure we understand from Unity what they are saying, okay? Because it also sounds like, because when it says this, we're introducing a new Unity runtime fee. It also sounds like they maintain their previous fees plus a new one. All right, the threshold. Games qualifying for the Unity runtime fee are after two certain... Oh, my goodness. Okay, let me just start again. Edit that out. I don't know what happened there. I just accidentally shit the bed. Games qualifying for the Unity runtime fee after two criterion have been met. The games have passed a minimum revenue threshold in the last 12 months, and the game has passed minimum lifetime install count. We set high revenue and game installs threshold to avoid impacting those who have yet to find scale, meaning they don't need to pay the fee until they have reached a significant success. Okay, what is that? Only games that meet. Okay, let's see what it is. Unity Personal and Unity Plus, those that have made 200,000 USD or more in the last 12 months and have at least 200,000 lifetime game installs. I will say that that's actually pretty nice, at least that you don't get charged for a good amount to begin with. But I mean, also game dev is a horrifyingly difficult situation, right? And so this is trailing 12 months, so that's could be nice. Unity Pro and Unity Enterprise, those that have made $1 million USD or more in the last 12 months and at least 100 or 1 million lifetime installs. The thing I don't like about this is that it's upon installation. Because you know what? Like, the reality is what's the value of an install? Well, it's not really realized unless if that person actually plays the game. I really don't like this idea, right? Flexibility and discounts for Unity Personal, Pro, and Enterprise. Okay, hold on. With this new policy as of January 1st, okay, let's see. We will offer Unity Personal to anyone regardless of how much revenue they make to provide more flexibility in how creators manage their licenses. Once a game passes the revenue and install threshold, the studio would pay a small, flat fee for each install. Okay, what is that? Let's see, Unity Personal, let's see, what is it? Still pretty expensive. Okay, so if you're on Unity Personal or Plus, you get 20 cents per install. So let's just do a quick little bit of math. Let's say you make a 1 million download game, and it happens to cross that $200,000 threshold in value met. Let's just run the numbers really quickly. Let's just say you're on a personal plan. You created a game that's successful. It gets, let's just say, 10 million downloads. You're only on personal. And it's made a grand total of $201,000. You would only be able to net negative $1.8 million. I never even thought about reinstalls. Are they insuring? What happened if you switch devices? That's just yet another install. So wait a second. You could actually lose money making a game? Dude, I've heard that the gaming industry is hard, but damn, I didn't think I'd have to pay millions of dollars just to make my stupid Flappy Birds. Oh, Lana Lux is here. Lana, dude, can you join the stream and talk to me a little bit about this? My assumption is you probably have the best take on this stuff, because you have the most familiarity of anybody I know when it comes to Unity and all this. How long have you been working on Unity for?
Well, I've been streaming in full-time Unity for 7 years, but I've been using it as a hobby for even longer. So I've been using Unity for quite a while now.
So you're familiar. One could say you're familiar. How have you put any games out? How many games have you put out?
I've put out a bunch of small games, and I put one out on Steam a few years ago, but I've been working on one for 3.5 years that's getting close to the end. But I'm this game has to stay on Unity. So I'm bound to Unity right now. I know a lot of people are like, oh, will I continue to use Unity? It's not really a question for me, because I have a game that I can't just port to something else after 3.5 years, right?
Yeah, don't you have a really nice strain trailer? That's the game you've been doing, right?
Yeah, I put a few trailers out. Yeah.
Is this one from which one can I take a quick look at so people can see some of your work?
On videos.
You can just link it in the chat if that's a good one, because I think it'd be kind of cool just to see so people understand when you say you're making a Unity game, you put some serious effort into when we say this is not something you can just easily switch over. Like, oh, I'm now a Godot dev. It's just
right, exactly. So we want to drop that in the chat?
Yeah, you can just drop it. Drop it in the Twitch chat. There you go. All right, hold on. Might have to turn you down. I don't know how loud. Sometimes these things get loud.
This is kind of loud, yeah.
And so what is this game? Can you describe it a little bit?
Yeah, so this is a first-person, single-player survival game with a narrative element. So this is the teaser trailer, just kind of to show the mood of the game. But, it's like you've probably played a survival game where you walk around, go to collect resources, explore, fight off. You're in an apocalyptic city, so you're going to fight off other scavengers and create a little base by yourself. There's, building, crafting, all the classic stuff, plus a narrative element as well. So that's the game I've been working on. It's called Strain.
It looks fantastic. The lighting is out of this world.
Thank you. Thanks, Unity.
Yeah, thanks, Unity. So you obviously plan to be affected by this, or at least you hope to be affected by this policy in some sense, because you'd like a successful game.
Right, exactly, yeah. It may not apply, right, if you don't reach a certain thresholds, but it is something that is on every dev's mind, I think, because that's what you reach for. That's what you hope for.
Yeah, so you hope you can reach the threshold. So paying Unity was looked at as a success, I assume, at one point in your life. Is that fair?
Say that again?
Before all this, was paying Unity meaning that you've actually made something successful?
No, not necessarily, because, I guess so, because I paid for the Plus version. Even before you put the game out, I was paying for it. But you only need to pay for that Plus version, I guess, after you reach a threshold. So I suppose that you only need to pay before, but there's reasons to pay otherwise.
Okay. Yeah. So the game looks great. Really cool little moment here. That, by the way, that spinning wheel, I've thought about that scene 18 times. For those that didn't see it, that scene is just so effed up. Lose a limb. I think about that constantly. I have thought about that one scene in this video, because I watched this trailer when it came out. I have probably thought about this 100 times since then as this is just the future of Mad Max, the future nobody actually wants.
Are you worried about death by bubbles? I'm worried about death by bubbles.
Death by bubbles is so grotesque. I'm not even sure what it means. So it's just I can't even put it in a box. So I'm okay. But the other one I can put, I know what it means. and I don't want that.
I don't want those. Yeah, I don't want those either.
All right, so
I don't even
great
want to
game.
win the limb.
It looks good. Now, I assume you probably have at least a couple opinions here on this whole Unity thing. You want to kind of, you want to give me your thoughts on this?
Yeah, sure. So I'm just getting in, so I'm not sure if you I'm not sure what you've covered yet or not.
We've looked through
Um,
this. I've kind of gone through this, and it made me realize that when it comes to install, since there's no technical reason why you have to charge on a game download, it means that on a personal Unity plan, you could easily accidentally make negative money.
yes, there is a concern about negative money, and that is my biggest concern because the structure is actually not that bad. So if you look at it and you compare it to something like Unreal, I actually think it's better if you look at it with the perspective of you pay per sale. Okay, you pay per sale. That would be actually a pretty decent structure because then if you like, let's say I sell Strain at $20 a game, and I'm paying 2 cents on each sale, and the threshold is 200,000 sales. That's $4 million before I pay anything. So that's actually not bad. And then the amount that you actually pay if it was per sale is better than the 5% that Unreal charges. So in a way, the structure's hypothetically not bad, but the concern is about the per install because they put out a blog post saying that it is that reinstalls are counted, which means not only could people just casually uninstall and reinstall, and now you're paying multiple dollars per user per purchase, but it's also there's a risk of and a fear, concern for devs of people like hate installing, right? Or like
Oh,
spamming,
interesting.
So, and then on top of that, there's also piracy, which has been raised as a concern, but the responses have not been comforting, right? Responses were not like, okay, piracy is not going to be counted. If we heard that, I think we'd be feeling a little bit better about it. But without those concerns addressed, this model is very risky and very concerning. And I just hope that they backpedal and change it. I really hope that they change the per downloads count, re-downloading counts, and I hope that they address the piracy thing. But I think the biggest thing that's a problem for a lot of devs is that it just came out of nowhere and nobody was really expecting this. And a lot of people feel like really betrayed by it because like someone like me, I've been paying monthly at a rate expecting that that's the amount I'm paying to use this and to put a game out. I'm not working on this game, I'm not using the product with the expectation of this. And now we don't really you don't expect your software to suddenly start charging. Like imagine if every time somebody watched your stream, they had to pay 5 cents now, or you had to charge 5 cents to that, or you know what I mean? It comes out of nowhere. So now you have to account for it. I feel like, and it just being and now we're doing it in just a few months. If it was in a few years, we're going to be
Yeah.
rolling this or slow transition into this. I honestly don't think it's a bad model. I kind of get it. I get it. They're a big game company, just like Unreal, and they
need to make
wanna
money.
successful games. Yeah, I get it. But I think that the way it's being done is very concerning for a lot of devs, and a lot of people have lost faith in this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first off, the personal one just seems high, in a sense that, I mean, I would assume that a lot of personal games are these free games that try to make money off of ads. They're pretty simple. They're tower defenses. They're whatever. And I don't know how much money you make off of an ad, but I assume it's something similar to YouTube where you're making a couple dollars per 1,000 ads shown, something along those lines, which is not necessarily, that's not going to easily add up to this number quickly. And so it kind of feels like they're pushing people towards this tier. At least that's my current initial take, is that it's a push towards you wanted them on Unity Pro, because then the fee is obviously much, much smaller, which I think a lot of people probably couldn't just start paying more. I assume it's a lot more than personal. And then,
yeah, I think it's thousands per year for Pro. I don't know offhand exactly, but it's definitely a lot more than personal, which is about $30 a month.
okay, yeah, and that's very doable versus obviously these get a lot more expensive. But then I never even thought about hate installing. Like that,
Yeah.
it's weird to give people that power to bankrupt somebody.
Yeah, exactly. That's the concern.
It's as messed up as that whole lose a limb on the wheel. Like I can't now I can't stop thinking about that, because there's antis. Antis are a real thing. I didn't really realize antis could be a real thing, and you eventually get some antis in real life, and you go, oh wow, there's actually people that would just do something intentionally to hurt you. And so yeah, this seems dangerous, and reinstalls seem nuts, and piracy. I mean, charging for piracy seems That just seems like such a kick in the gut.
Yeah.
Because you're
Piracy
already
is
not
already
making
painful
money.
as it is.
You're already not making money, and then they take it from you anyways. You're like, come on,
Right.
man. And hopefully you can, because now, so I guess a follow up question. I assume all these numbers are post the 200,000. So
Yes,
once you hit
that's
that
my
200,000 in a
understanding.
year, then the next 100,000 would be 15 cents. From 100,000 to 500 would be 0.75 cents, and then it just kind of goes down as you cross, like a graduated tax scale.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess the real question is, do you continue to use Unity after this? Like once Strain's completed, you feel good, you move on to your next game. Do you continue to use Unity, or do you search for other options?
Honestly, that's not even on my radar. I'm just like, what am I going to do with Strain? Because the game's meant to come out hopefully within a few months, and now I'm concerned about the installation. I'm thinking if they don't change what they've put out on these blog posts, like assuming if it does really well, let's say it's about to make $200,000 and it's about to reach that threshold, I might have to like stop selling it at that point so that I don't risk the over installation problem. That's the only thing I can think of, to not be exposed to the risk of multiple installs. And like, people are smart, they can figure stuff out, not to mention the piracy thing. Unless those things are like really covered well and like I'm not concerned about it, then I don't really want to be like, because like it could go to millions and millions, like, and then you're paying for that. Like I don't know.
Well,
Know what to
especially
do
with
with it.
Steam. Like Steam can give you, there has to be some identifying credential that is sent up from Steam being like, hey, Bob is reinstalling. There must be a reinstall event or something they could work out here. Because I mean,
That's
real
what I'm
talk,
thinking.
I've installed what's called Elden Ring 6 times on my computers.
I've rented a room all the time. I'll install games, reinstall them. I've installed singular games multiples of dozens of times, like many times.
I only have a
So
terabyte of computer memory, and every now and then I want to play Call of Duty. That's like half my memory. And so it's like things are getting uninstalled for me to play Call of Duty one time.
Right, exactly.
That's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't think about a lot of these things. All
Yeah,
right, so
it's a lot to think about.
do you know anything about, because I saw someone also commenting on Twitter about them breaking some privacy violations. You're in Canada, right? I don't know if Canada has the same privacy violation requirements as Europe. But
I'm not sure, actually.
The
Are you
PII
talking
stuff
about,
would be interesting.
are you talking about the privacy rules of installing software that monitors whether or not you've installed it? Or
There's a lot, because they have to keep some identifiable, some PII, some personal identifiable information to be able to track any of these things, to know that you're installing it. And so I'm also curious about that, if there's real concern or is that Twitter concern? Because there's Twitter concern.
That's not something honestly, that's not something I'm even like, I'm not familiar with the laws and the rules, and I don't know how that would be handled either.
Okay,
So
that's EU concern. EU concern. We'll let them worry about that. That's not for me. All right, last and I think most important question is: are you coming to TwitchCon?
I'm not. No, I wish. Too much game development to do.
Okay, I guess you are technically releasing a game at pretty much the same time.
Yeah.
What an excuse. No. Okay, well, it would have been great to have you there, but
yeah, we'll have to meet at another conference sometime.
Next year's 2024.
Next year. Sounds good.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us about this.
Yeah, nice chatting.
This was really
good. Take
care.
All
right, thanks, Lana.
Bye. You're welcome.
Bye. All right, so this is interesting. So now that we know kind of the Unity part of it, there was some other things. Let's see if we get. Let's at least look for one more little item in here. Let's go over one more article. I'm going to look for like the top voted comment here and try to understand what's happened. Sorry, I refreshed it twice. I mean, 2,000 shares. Come on. This is, dude. First off, don't ever try to put these two things together. I guarantee you that when this John fella went to go sell his shares. First off, 2,000 shares. He has a total. Let's see. In the past year, he sold a total of 50,000 shares. Okay, so first off, that's nothing. But second off, when a CEO does this of a publicly traded company, it's like there's like a 6-month lead time or something. Like all of these have been put in to be sold months upon months upon months upon months ago. So don't read in too deeply to that. That them selling shares is them pre-planning the death spike. Like as He owns 3.1 million shares. Trust me, selling 0.07% of your shares. The global elite establishment are timing it, right? Exit scam. It's not it. 0.08%? Yeah, rug pull confirmed, right? Don't be too worried about some of those things, right? Whenever people get all up in arms about that, I always go, okay, we've hit like too much peak. That's called Twitter. Don't let Twitter rot your brain out, right? Major update from Unity about their fees. Unity regrouped and now says only initial installations of the game trigger fees. Okay, let's go. Demos mostly won't trigger fees. No, don't do that. No. Devs are not on the hook for Game Pass. Okay, that last one's really good. I love that devs are not on the hook for Game Pass, but you gotta be shitting me. Demos mostly won't count. Capitalism was a mistake. All right, so I think it's really interesting. So I think for our let's see, why do they have morons in charge of making these decisions? Do they not reach out to the community? See, that's the thing is that, okay, this is my actual like real thought process of what happens here. Is that the companies think that if they talk about charging, they're gonna, it's gonna cause a whole problem and they're not gonna be able to do it. So instead, they just start charging. Literally, that's what I think it is. They don't actually just simply go, okay, we have to make more money. Therefore, we need to find a new way. We would like to change our thing, and we're thinking along this stuff. What are some things that are concerning for you, right? So write an article. Seems right. Yeah, like, what are the things concerning for you? What can we do to make sure that it's not concerning for you? Really, virtue. It really is. I genuinely think they just, like, you could have avoided all of this. Like, just like Lana said, she's not necessarily against it. It's still cheaper than Unreal, which I think is a good point. It is a cheaper version than Unreal because 5% adds up quickly. At $4, you're more than the personal plan. Right? So, Unity 5 is very expensive. Yeah, write your own engine. Not cheaper than Godot. Fair, but not as good as Godot. Okay, Unity's pretty good. Okay, if my dumbass can make a video game in Unity, it's pretty good, right? It's pretty dang good. To me, it's pretty straightforward. Hello, community, we're running out of money. How can we make this work? Yes. And you can say that. I think you should be able to say that without the world blowing up. And so for me, it's the problem of being a publicly traded company. Right? A publicly traded company is a really bad place on this. You should get Lana Lux's take on this. She did. She came on the stream and gave a take. You just missed it, Judo. It'll be in the YouTube video. But to me, it seems like it's a really good move to make things make sense and talk to people first and then go from there. And so obviously the re-downloads should have been an obvious one. Pirating, obvious one. Hate downloads, obvious one, right? You got to figure out a way to do something with those. And so that seems good. The rest of it, that demos won't probably be charged, that was like the funniest line I've ever seen. So let's read this. Okay, let's read this next one right here. Unity rushes to clarify pricing. Okay. Unity, the tech company behind the most popular game engines for creating video games, is scrambling to clarify how price increase for its services will work after its announcement Tuesday morning. Yeah, which broadly, made everybody upset. All right, hold on, give me the details. Okay, the new runtime fee announced Tuesday morning is tied to players' installation of the game, an action that previously didn't cost developers anything. Yeah, I think this is a reason why people really liked, Unity. I think also adding a new charge to something that people paid to not have to pay, right? They pay for these, enterprise licenses, these really expensive licenses, such that they don't have to pay for this as the, inverse of the Unreal Engine. And then to get that later on probably feels like a low blow. Unity's new plan, developers who use the Unity's free tier of development services would owe Unity 20 cents per installation. Like, that's a lot. And it starts at $200,000. So, and $200,000 earned in revenue. Developers paying over $2,000 a year for Unity Pro plan would have hit higher thresholds and would be charged lower fees. The new fee system will begin at the start of 2024. Yes, but game developers rallying on X began fuming immediately that any game enjoying a spike of installations due to a big sale or, say, a streamer. Let's just say me. Not me. Let's just say Dr. Disrespect, the real deal, okay? Let's just say he decides to play a game like Always Up, right? Think about Always Up. It went from nothing to like the most downloaded game in a second. Or Among Us went from nothing to everything in just, right? Like these things, like think of the refunds, right? Like there's a lot of things that you have to think about when it comes to this. You know, Vampire Survivors, right? Like you make a little fun game that relies on ad revenue. It's kind of cutesy. You're making some money. Oh my goodness, I spent 1,000 hours and I've made $100,000. Look at this. I've made a game where I got paid $100 an hour to do this. Sure, probably not as good as web dev when you consider, 401k matching, stocks, healthcare, all that stuff. But still, I did it. I made it myself. This is amazing. And then Unity's like, but now, kaboom, right? So I can see that being that's a really tough time. Okay, so where's the clarification? I don't want to read between the lines. Where's the clarification? Game developer... Okay, hold on. Stop it. Development studio Innersloth, makers of the hit Among Us, tweeted Tuesday evening, this would harm not only us, but fellow game studios of all budgets and sizes. Yeah, agreed. Another studio, Argo Crab, called on Unity to reverse its plans, saying that it feared that its next game, set for release to the 25 million subscribers on Game Pass, would incur fees that threaten the stability of our business. These are all great things. The intrigue. Unity has scrambled to clarify and in one key case alter what it has said about its policies. Okay, can we effing just see? Can you just show us the thing? Okay. Let's see. Zoom in. After initially telling Axios earlier Tuesday that the player installing a game, deleting it, and installing again would result in multiple fees, Unity's Witten told Axios that the company would actually only charge the initial initial installation. Okay, good. A spokesperson told Axios that Unity had regrouped to discuss the issue. That's a very fair issue. This is such a fair issue, right? You know what I mean? So... he hoped this would allay fears of install bombing, where an angry user could keep deleting and reinstalling a game to rack up fees. Yeah. Okay, good. So hate installing doesn't really exist. How do they not think? See, that's always a worry. For me, that's always a worry, is when you have people in charge who are running a ship and can so thoroughly not understand the thing that they do, right? It's the same thing with Twitch problem, right? Twitch is inundating you guys with ads. I love the fact that you guys have given me literally so many subs so that you don't have to watch, ads. But at the same time, it's like Twitch also has to realize like that's also a huge drain on users. So like pre-roll ads are awful, right? Pre-roll ads make it so that users don't want to watch other streamers. It destroys discoverability. It destroys raids, right? You get raided somewhere and you get hit with an ad first. Like that's like not a good thing, right? It's like they don't think about these things. And it's like you don't use the product. And that's what, just recently I've been seeing the CEO of Twitch has started his own channel, and he's playing music and singing, and I saw him, he had like 70 users. I went and saw it for a moment. I thought it's really good. He's experiencing what it takes to build an audience, to be able to use Twitch, to see what people have to say, and just be an anonymous Andy trying to build something, right? I think that that's really good doing that, and it's going to help the company overall actually use it. And I think that's what made Blizzard games so good, is that back in the day, Blizzard games were played, and it was a requirement that you had to play the shit out of Blizzard games to work at Blizzard. That's why early World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, Warcraft 2, they were amazing, right? They were amazing games. And then it stopped being amazing. And now they have people on Diablo 4. Oh, incoming ad break, by the way. They have people on Diablo 4 that are showing off the game, and they don't know how to play the game, and they literally work on dungeons. They work on the game, and they don't know how to play the game, right? It's just like, what is happening here? Right? Like, what is happening? That you can't make a good product if you don't believe in the product itself. That's like one of my core fundamental beliefs, other than like if you're writing, like, it's just a belief. It's just a belief of mine. I can't think like, It's hard for me not to believe that, right? Anyways, he says, well, I pay for Netflix. I use Netflix. I report bugs. I think of reasons why I hate it. I'm motivated to improve performance on the Netflix application. Despite us being the best performance application out there, I still want better. So that's why we watched Wheel of Time together. That's why we watched Wheel of Time together, baby. Anyways, so this is just what I see, is I see a studio that the people in charge don't know their users. And it always makes me sad seeing this because I really do think that it hurts. It hurts the experience. All right, read between the lines. Runtime fees will also not be charged for installations of game demos, Witten said, unless the demo is part of a download that includes the full game. Early access games would be charged for an installation, he noted. I mean, somewhat fair, I guess, like if you download the whole game. But if it sucks because the person's not actually committing to your game, okay, gray area. I'll give them a gray area. I'll give them a gray area on that one. Still hurts. It still hurts. It still hurts. I think it would be better by them to simply only charge for full installations, right? It still makes it feel like you're on the developer's team, but hey, we also got to make money to pay for all these great services because Unity is a great product. Games offered for charity or included in charities will be exempt from the fees. How do you? That's some pretty tight integration with Steam. Unity will provide a way for developers to inform Unity that their games are being offered that way. Okay. As for Game Pass and other subscription services, Witten said that developers like Aggro Crab would not be on the hook. As for the fees are charged to the distributors, which are in the Game Pass example, Microsoft. That just means you. You pay for it. That's all that means. You now pay for it. Right? That's just what that means. You pay for it. Like, I'm all about Microsoft getting kicked in the groin every now and then. I'm a big fan of Microsoft groin kicking, so I laughed a little bit when I read that sentence. But yeah, this is me right here. Oh, shoot, that poor distributor. Oh, what Unity's doing right here, what Unity's doing is it's just not okay. It's just not okay. Anyways, Game Pass price is about to go up, everybody. That's what that means. Game Pass price is going up. It's going up. Let's see. It's still the best way for hobbyists to get into game dev. Yeah, you have to make. Yeah, no, exactly. So it's not. So what I'm reading right now is that I think Twitter is probably not a great reaction. I think Lana Lux made a lot of good points, and I think them turning around on reinstalls is a great thing. There's still the whole thing of piracy, which I think is a real concern, and people should really take that real. Does that affect the bottom line? You know what I mean? Microsoft just buys Unity. Boom. Oh my goodness. Okay, bye. Everybody, get in. Oh my goodness. Alex Jones moment. People.
I'm a pioneer. I'm an explorer. I'm a human, and I'm coming. I'm animated. I'm alive. My heart's big. It's got hot blood going through it fast. I like to fight, too. I like to eat. I like to have children.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out on this one. Hear me out. My camera's crooked. I can see that it's crooked. But real talk. What if this is a play to get acquired by Microsoft? I'm just saying. There's something going on. And I think I'm desynced. I am desynced. We'll fix this in post-production. Oh, I can't even look at myself. If I see myself, my lips are not matching up with what I'm saying, and I'm going to throw up. I'm throwing up. Anyways, I think I got desynced. I don't know what happened. Alex Jones literally ruined this. Not financial advice. This is not financial advice. This is pure conspiracy-agin, okay? This is conspiracy-agin. Everyone's upset about this, but everyone's going to accept it. Yeah, because the alternatives, it's not like the alternatives are better. Godot is not Unity. Bevy is just not going to be Unity, okay? Trust me, you're not going to get a bunch of people going from C# to Unity to Bevy easily, all right? It's just not a real transition. I don't think Godot is the same level as Unity. It's just not, you know what I mean? It's just not there, okay? Has no console support. So everyone's going to probably just accept this, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that Unity at least listened to concerns. I really do hope that people like Lana Lux and other people creating great indie content that takes years of their life, that we literally have the receipts for. You can go on Lana's stream and just see just literally thousands of hours of work on Unity. Okay, I mean, like literally, we can go to twitchtracker.com Lana Lux. I mean, look at this. 8 hours, 6 hours, 4, like this is all work on her game. Like, look at this. This is literally hundreds of hours streamed. All right? Ridiculous. So, resurrect XNA, that's the option. So it's like, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to make a game. And so 6.2 thousand hours. Yeah, she's a boss. And so it's like, I want to make sure that like people like her who are putting in and making great content have it. You know what I mean? Games from scratch, that's cool. I mean, I know it's possible, but it doesn't include everybody to do this, okay? Writing your own game from scratch is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. Hey, come on. Be better. All right, let's look at one more article here. Unity wants 108% of our gross revenue. Oh my goodness, they're on Enterprise. Oh my goodness, they're literally on Enterprise. They're literally on Enterprise. They get 1% and they have all of their revenue gone. Just do the math. It's all of your revenue. See, I think this is what they needed to do. They needed to talk to their most downloaded people. They needed to understand who and how much they're making. They had to do something because this just feels like, how did you not see this coming? Right? This seems really scary. Honestly, this seems truly scary right here. We would owe 109% of our revenue. Damn. Okay, maybe. How to tank your company in one easy step. Damn. All right, well, this is shocking. So, anyways, I hope that this doesn't destroy. Their math is way off. No. Huh? Their math is way off. No, their math is way on. Oh, that's per month. Oh, it's per month. Oh, no. Oh, no. You're right. It resets every month, so you have to pay the first 100,000 you're paying like 15 cents on. Turns out I'm the stupid one. They probably want more than that. So let's just say that this is over. I think this is over a course of a year, right? Games for kids. We don't display advertisements. Yep. Yeah. Great. Hey, what a nice thing. It's a game for kids and they don't put advertisements. Thank you, company. What a nice thing. This is 2024. So this must be money for 2022, I assume. That means that literally they restart every month. And so just saying, that's not beautiful. So how many reinstalls are there? We don't know. But this just seems really terrifying. Yeah, that's terrifying. All right, I got to go. The name is I really hope that this doesn't ruin good games because I really like good games and mobile gaming is 99% trash and a couple amazing games. So I really hope that somehow this makes it so that good games are made, trash games go away, and that's what I would love to see. Jen, and please stop being so, like, Unity, I understand you got shareholders and stuff that you need to, appease, and you have to make more money, and you have to pay for your product, and I want to see Unity be successful, so I don't mind charging where it makes sense, but you got to figure it out to where it's not horrible. You know what I mean? Like, this can't happen, okay? You can't do this to somebody. This doesn't make any sense. It don't make no sense. You got to come up with a better model here, okay? Jen.